Here are 20 things that I do in my everyday life that really do save me money every single day, and I really think that they can do the same for you. So if you want to find out more, keep watching. Hello and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Hi, my name is Amy. On this channel I post videos about frugal living, saving money and feeding your family on a budget. So if you like that kind of thing, I'd love it if you would subscribe, and don't forget to press the bell, and then you can be notified every time I post a new video. These things cover every different part of our budget in one way or another, and I did a video like this or similar to this a couple of weeks ago, and you guys really seemed to like it, so I thought I'd do another one and give you a lot more tips, and also just get a lot more specific on certain things that I do, because the last video I did was quite sort of varied. It was to give you a list of things you could start implementing straight away, but on a much broader basis, so this one's a little bit more specific. So number one is about food, and this is something that, if you've seen the other videos on my channel, I'm quite passionate about. I really do think that the food budget is somewhere where most households have a little bit of flexibility and could bring it down just a bit, which would really help them out overall. So the first thing that I would say when it comes to food shopping is to shop weekly. If you're shopping once a week rather than going in every couple of days, I mean, even go longer if you can, shop fortnightly or monthly, but at most once a week, because if you can minimize the number of times you're going into the shops, you can minimize the temptation for offers, you can minimize your risk of doing the shopping when hungry thing, because that's really not a good idea, and it really just helps to keep you on track and focused. Number two is to try and reduce your household bills, to check that you are on the best tariffs for everything. Every single thing, I mean here, every monthly bill that you have, try and see if you can get a slightly better tariff. If you can bring the cost down that way, you don't have to change your life at all, and you'll still be able to do it. The switching websites are really, really good, but it is also worth going direct to your supplier. Don't just go straight to your supplier. The most recent reduction that we managed to get, we went to the supplier and asked them which tariff would be best for us, and there was actually a deal on, but that deal was only available through the switching sites, so they couldn't give it to us directly, so we didn't even switch supplier. Our direct debit stayed exactly the same, it's just that the price got a lot lower, and we ended up saving a lot of money that way. Number three is no spend exercise. You don't necessarily need to be going to the gym. You don't need to be paying for exercise classes. Those things are absolutely brilliant, and I don't knock them at all. If you need the motivation, they can be amazing. But there are so many free resources out there that you can use. So YouTube is a brilliant place to be able to watch exercise videos, and also just get out for a walk, go for a run, go for a bike ride. All of those different things are completely free. Number four is one that I didn't figure out until I became a parent, and although I think it is just so crucial if you are a parent, and I'm sure you'll be with me on this one, but it's also good just as a general rule. I now do this just if I'm going to work, I make sure I've got this with me, and it's always to have a bottle of water and some snacks, because if you feel like you just need to go and buy a drink, you probably won't just buy that bottle of water, and then you end up buying extra things, and before you know it, you've spent £10. Well, that could definitely be better spent elsewhere. Number five is to minimize your waste. So use up what you have, bathroom products, shampoo, conditioner, all of those sorts of things. Make sure you're using them to the very last bit. You know, when you get down to your hair conditioner, add to the very bottom of your hair conditioner, add some water to the bottle, give it a shake, and you've probably got 2 or 3 more washes out of that bottle that you would have just chucked in the bin. Now, although those things only save tiny little bits of money, it really does add up in the long term. Number 6 is to minimize your journeys. So if you've got lots of different errands to run, batch them together and do them in a logical way so that you're going A to B to C, not forwards and backwards all over the place. Minimizing those journeys firstly will save you time, but it will also save you money. Obviously if you're walking, slightly different, although it will still save you time, but if you're using public transport or you're going by car, you're going to be paying for that. So try and just do it in a logical, sensible A to B way, and it will save you money. Number 7 is to do it yourself. So this doesn't apply to all situations, obviously. There are some things you just need to call in an expert, but for simple tasks, a lot of them you really can do yourself. So just learning a new skill, chances are there is something around your house that you could be doing yourself that you will actually enjoy when you get into it. I mend all of our clothes. It's not something that I'd thought about doing before we sort of started trying to cut back. I would always either just bin whatever it was and buy something new, or if it was a more expensive item, I would pay somebody to fix it for us. So that has really saved us a lot of money, and I really enjoy doing that as well. So learning a new skill and then putting it into practice. So things like simple car mechanics, learning to sew, learning basic DIY, painting and decorating, all of those sorts of things really will save you money. Number 8, along the same vein, cook from scratch. So learn to cook if you don't know how, and this really will save in the long run. Watch some videos, get some recipe books out, and just give it a try. You might hate it, fair enough, but you might find that actually you really enjoy yourself, and it will save you a lot of money if you're able to cook from scratch. Although things can sometimes seem cheaper to buy a jar of or that sort of thing, I really do think that cooking from scratch has saved us so much money since I started doing it. If there's something that you want to buy, and it's something that you know you definitely are going to buy, try to find an offer for it or a coupon code or something. There will more than likely be something, some way of getting that price down. Even if it's only by a tiny, tiny bit, all of those tiny bits add up. Something that we always do is with our cat food, our cats always eat the same cat food. Won't touch anything else, always eat the same cat food. So what we do is, usually in one of the supermarkets it will be on offer, but what we do is when it is on offer, we buy a lot of it because it comes in, it works out to be nearly half the price of its standard price. So that over the course of a month saves us a lot of money. And every time we need to buy it, it's pretty much always on offer in one of the supermarkets, but we always then have an extra one in stock so that if it's not on offer, it will be at some stage soon. So if you can afford to as well, wait for the offers to come on. Now another one on offers, although I've just spent some time telling you to shop the offers, I'm also going to say don't shop the offers. If it's something you actually need and you see it on offer, then yes, buy it, stock up on it. But if it's something that you just happen to see, you're going around the supermarket, it's not something you'd normally buy or even particularly want to buy, but the offer looks good, so therefore you get it, it's not a bargain unless you actually needed it in the first place. Otherwise, it's money that you've just spent extra. Number 11 is to check your bank account daily. Now, I know this can seem a little bit over the top, but you really should be checking your bank account daily, because if something goes out that you're not expecting, it could be a really simple fix. It could be a subscription you've forgotten to cancel. It could be a payment that was slightly higher than you thought, so therefore you need to go back to the company and find out why. If these things wait, sometimes it's not necessarily too late to do something about it, but say you've got a certain amount of time to cancel a subscription, for example, it goes out 1 month on the 1st of the month, you don't get a bank statement until the end of the month, by which point it's going out again. Whereas if you see it on the first day, you can cancel it and then it won't be going out again, so that won't be additional money that's going out of your bank account that really needn't be. Number 12 is to downgrade. So Downgrade is not a negative thing, in my opinion. Take one step down, not in quality, but in price. If you can do that to all areas of your life, it will save you a fortune. So in the supermarket, just go to, not the main brand, maybe go for Supermarket Zone. Or if you're already on Supermarket Zone, give the value range a try. With your clothes, maybe instead of going for designer, go for high street. Now, this doesn't work for everybody, but if you can just take a step down, same with your car, everything, taking a step down will save you a fortune. The next one is to have sinking funds. Now, sinking funds are basically little pots of money that you save up for different situations or for ongoing costs that you don't have all the time. So things like, we have one for school uniform, so that come August we don't have to spend a complete fortune out of our budget for new school uniforms, new books, new everything. We have the sinking fund ready, because otherwise we have to find that money in our budget, or we end up having to use a credit card or something like that, which then is an additional cost because you have the interest for that. So it really does take the pressure off, and because you're not having to make those interest payments, it will save you money as well. Next is to pause on every major purchase. Not even just the major purchases, the smaller purchases as well. Everything that you think you want, add it to the Amazon basket, or bookmark the page, or note it down if it's something that you've seen on the high street, or if it's a car. Just keep all of those things, but don't just buy them on impulse. That way you can work out whether you really want them, or whether it was just that satisfaction of buying it that you wanted. If you take a couple of days before you actually go to make that purchase, it just gives your mind a chance to work out whether it's something you actually really want. Quite often you'll find that it's not something you actually want, so therefore it will save you the money you would have spent. Really research the major purchases, and I don't just mean to look at the reviews and go for the best reviewed. You always need to find what is best for you. So do the research, work out what it is that you actually want from whatever it is you're buying. Say you're buying a washing machine, for example. Do you need a quick wash cycle, or do you need that fast spin, or do you need both? Work out exactly what your requirements are, and then find the best product that fits what you really need. It doesn't just have to be about price, it will be about value, and that value is not the same for everybody. So you really need to think about what you need and research based on that, not on just everybody thinks this model's great for these reasons. You need to know that those reasons are also your reasons. Otherwise, those rave reviews really don't matter. By doing that, you will be able to buy the best product for you, which is going to last you personally the longest amount of time, and you're not then going to be spending unnecessary money on different features and things that you don't actually need and that you won't benefit from. Number 16, don't waste food. Again, I'm coming back to food, and again, you all know how I feel about food. Don't waste it. So if you are making a meal and you have leftovers, save them. They can be used somewhere. Make sure that you're buying food that you will eat within the space of time that you can keep it for. Now, if you have a freezer and things like that, you can massively increase food's lifespan, but still only buy things you're actually going to eat. It sort of connects to the offers here, but I know before I started sort of properly meal planning and being really sort of strict with it, if I saw an offer in the supermarket and I went, oh, I really fancy giving that a try, I might buy 2 or 3 packs of it and then find I don't like it. Absolutely pointless, and then it has to go in the bin. Any food that you end up just putting in the bin, really, you may as well just set fire to your money. And I know that sounds dramatic, but it's just money in the bin. Number 17 is to avoid credit at basically all costs. Credit over time really does cost you a fortune. Now, even if you're on a really decent interest rate, don't just look at your monthly payments, look at how much something is going to cost you over the lifetime of that credit, and think about whether that is a necessary thing to do, or whether by making maybe a couple of the other things that I've mentioned here, maybe you could put them into practice and then you'd be able to pay for whatever it is with cash. Make sure that you just work out that if you find you need to use credit, make sure that it is a need, not just a want, because that will be additional money that you're spending out. Reduce your electricity. So it's not just electricity, it's your overall household bills. I mentioned earlier about getting your general tariff costs down, but you can also actually just reduce what you're actually using, which will reduce your costs. So if you know you're on the best tariff, try and bring your actual usage down, because that, again, is just extra money. So switch off your plug sockets. Make sure you switch off lights when you leave rooms. Don't have your central heating running if you're not at home. I have done a video on some of my top ways to save energy, and I will link that in the comments down below. But do try and reduce your usage, because otherwise, again, if you're not actually making use of it, so if you're not there and you're running your central heating, again, you're just chucking money away. So try and bring that down. Number 19 is to buy the best quality that you can afford. That does not mean the most expensive. It comes down to research again a bit, but if you can take a step up in quality for something that's going to last you a lot longer, you're just going to be buying once instead of twice. Now, I know this doesn't apply to everybody, and I know that lots of people simply can't afford to take that step up. Then absolutely go with the cheapest option if that's what you need to do. But if you can afford to, even if it's only the tiniest step up, then you really should make that step. Just make sure that you're not just going for a more expensive option, because more expensive does not necessarily mean better quality. And finally, number 20, live below your means. Living below your means does not mean that you have to have an inadequate lifestyle. You really don't. And if you're already living as low as you can with your budget and things, then maybe every time you get a pay rise, or you change jobs, or you receive a little bit of extra money, rather than spending that, save it and just keep your lifestyle how it is. Now, things do change over time, obviously, but always try and just keep it below what you can afford. Just because you can afford something does not mean that you should. Living below your means means that you can start living for your future while at the same time enjoying your life at the moment. Life, I think personally, it shouldn't be all about saving for the future, and that's not what frugal living is to me. Although I am trying to improve our financial future through this journey, but we also want to be enjoying our life right now. And by cutting back on certain things and by putting these tips into place, I've managed to create the lifestyle that we want and have some left over. Whereas before we were very much hand to mouth, and even sort of worse than that, we had more going out than we had coming in, and that is just not a situation that I want to be in, and I don't want any of you to be in that situation either. If you think this video has helped you, please give me a thumbs up, and I would love it if you leave me a comment below if you have any other tips or any other ways that you save money. I have hundreds more, and I could sit here for absolutely hours talking through all of these, and so I will be doing some more future videos on different things that I do. I'll link below some videos that I've done on specific topics to do with saving money, so things like my food saving money and some of my budgeting videos. I'll link those below. So that's it. That's my 20 top tips that have helped us just improve our financial situation. If you want to see more videos like this one, I'd love it if you would subscribe, and I really look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye!